Hello and welcome to another video. I just wanted to do a quick introduction to this outreach video because it's not the usual type of outreach video that I upload. Most of the outreach videos I upload go relatively well. The people are quite open, or if they're not open in the beginning, they become more open as the conversation progresses, and towards the end they usually will walk away considering veganism or wanting to look further into it. This conversation didn't go that way at all. The person was not open to veganism. They had many objections, and I wanted to show you my responses to those objections, and I guess to upload it so you could perhaps learn and think about a way that you would have liked to have responded to this person. Now, in this type of situation where the person's made it clear that they're not open and they're not going to take on board what you have to say, I would recommend in most cases when you're doing outreach to thank them for the conversation and to move on, because you only get so much time and energy at each cube of truth. Now in this instance I was being filmed and I thought it could be interesting to just go further with it and to see how far we could take the conversation.
What are you guys protesting?
We're not, it's just a demonstration. We're just showing people where meat, eggs and dairy and animal products come from.
Buddy, we're chefs.
Okay. My brother.
We know exactly where it comes from.
Yeah, you've been to the slaughterhouses and...
I've seen them.
Yeah,
I don't approve of a lot of it.
Sorry?
I don't approve of a lot of it.
Okay. What don't you approve of?
Honestly, and not to play the card, I don't want to sound the way it sounds, but our biggest problem with the meat industry here is two things: export and halal.
So you think it's the way they're killed?
Yeah.
So you don't think the fact we're killing them is anything wrong?
No.
Okay, why?
I'm also a Christian, so I believe that we were put on this earth and we were given dominion over the animals. They are there for us.
Yeah, interesting, because I'm not religious, but I know from what I understand of those texts that it does not mandate eating animals.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mandate.
So you still have a
have
choice.
We do.
Yeah, just like anyone.
But in this day and age as well, can you realistically tell me that without some good form of protein, and don't tell me chickpeas and stuff, like proper protein, you can't survive.
So I haven't had meat in like 16 years, so...
You work extremely hard to make sure you get your protein though, don't you?
No, you don't have to work hard, no, because protein comes from plants. The 9 amino acids originate in plants, and the animals that you're eating, that's where they're getting the protein. So when you eat an animal, you're eating their animal protein, but animal protein is actually detrimental to our health. So
it could be argued.
What's the leading cause of death in Western society?
I got asked this the other day, they didn't like my answer.
Well, it's heart disease, statistically. And so non-vegan doctors, just doctors, like cardiologists, the science is very clear that it's due to a few things, but cholesterol is one of the main contributors. On
that point though, like as a chef, I've seen every fad, every trend come through. You know what it is right now? Gluten. Gluten is the worst thing going right now because it's trendy. So I deal with celiacs day in, day out. You know what? Some days I've just put a little bit, nobody's ever actually had a reaction. Yeah. It's just hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the same point, you look at the diets, Atkins, Pritikin, all these stupid fad. Atkins was eat meat, nothing but meat. And now we wonder why 10 years after Atkins was big, people are dying of heart disease. It's about balance. I'm not saying that you should eat an exclusively meat diet, but at the same point, there should be balance. Again, there are ways around, like not around it, but there are ways to operate that aren't as terrible. Like there's ethical ways to do it. Like me and my housemate, we're both chefs.
Yeah, can I touch on a point? You just made quite a few points there. So you talked about all these different diets that have come and gone. I totally agree. Like the amount of misinformation that's out there, it's pretty hard as just an everyday person to like spend enough time. You know, we're not going to read every study and every journal.
2 years ago, eggs were terrible for you. Now they're the best thing you can have. They can't decide.
Well, so the reason that is, and this is what I found interesting, is when you look at who's funding the studies that say that they are, it's usually the Egg and Dairy Board or the Meat and Dairy Board. So they do independent studies and they publish those.
On the one, like the studies that are looking at the other side, I put you, if you dig deep enough, you'll find that they're funded by people that are looking for the right results to suit them as well. So it comes back down to like the argument about marijuana in this country right now. There are so many studies out there that say it's terrible for you. Who are those studies backed by? Big business and big government that are going to lose money if weed becomes legalized. Alcohol companies, tobacco companies, the ones that don't want to see it legalized because it's going to hurt their bottom line. It's going to hurt their
So how do you make decisions then?
I look at it myself.
Yeah, so you've looked at all the...
I'm 28 years old now, I've been eating meat all my life. I've never had a problem. When I have a problem and I pinpoint meat as that problem, I will change my stance, but until then...
Yeah, so this is to do with like, so it's an interesting topic and it's to do with us, right? Everything we're talking about is relating to our health and us.
Yeah.
What about the animal?
It's always one fight.
Again, as I said at the start, I don't believe the way we're killing them is proper.
Yeah,
I think it should be done properly. Like the halal is the biggest problem I have.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to slit that animal's throat. Like, how about I line up 20 of you and I slit the guy next to you, I slit his throat, and I tease him and I laugh at him next to you, and then I come to you and go, hey buddy, it's your turn.
Yeah, would that be moral?
No, that's not. But that's how it's done. That's my problem with it.
But what you're saying there is that it's moral because of how it's done, but isn't killing me immoral? The act of killing me immoral?
Again, that comes back to a religious point, and as I said to you before, like my personal belief is we were given dominion over the animals. You look at Adam and Eve with the fall.
Yeah, we have dominion. I won't argue against
but
that.
You go all the way back to the fall, where they hid themselves from God. They went and they made themselves clothes out of leaves because they were naked, you know. And God's like, what's the problem here? It's like, we're naked. We know about now we know, what's the first thing he did? He killed the lamb. He killed a lamb, he made clothes out of that lamb for them, and he fed them with it.
So would you agree?
Eating meat.
Would you agree would you agree that times that when are very different to the times we live in now?
No.
You don't think that things were different 2,000 or 3,000 years ago?
I think we've come forward, but the principles remain.
You don't think we live in it? Hold on a second, I'm letting you speak. If you don't think that the society that we live in, like there were no supermarkets back then.
Tell me that the Ten Commandments are no longer current. Tell me that the Ten Commandments no longer have any gravity.
Yeah, thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not covet. Like, you tell me right now.
How about your neighbour's ox?
Oh, your neighbour's wife, not your ox.
Right.
Neighbour's possessions, neighbour's wife. But again, you tell me that those 10 Commandments are not now current.
So
you can't take part of the Bible.
I'm not religious, so you're like, what you're saying doesn't bear any weight on my life because I have choice.
On a moral point, the 10 Commandments, we've based our entire legal system around those commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal.
We have a system that's meant to be set up separate from, a government separate from religion.
But our laws are still based on those principal tenets, those 10 Commandments of this is what you need to do.
You know there was slavery in the Bible too, right?
Yeah.
Does that make it moral?
There's still slavery now. Does
it make it moral?
No.
But
you show me anywhere in the Bible where it's like, go and take a slave.
Well, like I said, go
and take the
I don't use the text, any text from a time or era to justify my own decisions.
The time and era to me has nothing to do with it. It's as current then as it was now. It is a guideline to how to be a decent human being.
Do you think that if we have dominion over animals, right, do you think God would want us to take the creatures he has created and basically mutilate them, breed them, enslave them, and slaughter them against their will? What sort of loving, kind, benevolent God would want us to do that to us? Hold on, you don't let me finish. Why would a kind, benevolent God want us to do that to his creatures?
Again, now you're asking me to explain God. Explain to me why God lets children in Africa starve.
Well, I don't believe in religion, so that's why I don't follow that, because I don't.
You're asking me to explain something that, quite frankly,
I thought you might have the answers because you're religious.
Nobody on this earth can explain God's moves. None of us actually understand his plan.
But you're saying God wants you to eat animals.
I'm not saying he wants to, I'm saying he said I can.
So you've got the choice. So why choose that choice?
Why? Honestly? At a baseline level?
Yeah.
Meat is fucking tasty.
So there we get to it. And the thing is that that's pleasure, right? Does pleasure justify harming someone else?
To a point, no.
No. It does, or
no. But at the same point, again, and we're not going to find a common ground here, because again, like, do you believe in souls? Do you believe every human has a soul?
I have no idea what happens to us after we die. And anyone that claims to is referring to someone else. No, I'm not either.
I'm not trying to have an aggressive argument. I'm enjoying it.
This is good. It's passionate, you know.
But again, at the same point, like, I believe that every human has a soul. I don't believe the same of animals. We were made in God's image. That's my belief.
So they're inferior.
Animals were not. To a point, yeah.
So what is it about them not having a soul? How do you verify that we have a soul?
Well, look at it. Is there a Bible written for cows? Is there a religion?
Not everyone's written a Bible though. There is just a Bible. I haven't written a Bible.
There's the Bible. There's the Quran. There's the Buddhist text.
Yeah, but
all of these are for human.
And they're all.
You show me a higher form of sentience in animals and a higher form of society, and I will stand back and I'll go, you know what? They're probably not actually inferior to us. But at the moment, I'm not saying that all of this is good, but this is what we've done.
Pigs have the intelligence of a 3 or 4-year-old child, cognitive ability. Right?
Are you going to tell me if you take a piglet and hand it to a woman and say, suckle, this is your child, and raise it as a human, do you think that pig's going to walk, talk,
That's not what I...
We're not expecting. There is a difference.
And there is. And the reason why there is a difference, right, It's because obviously we've evolved differently. Now you might believe whatever you want to believe religiously, but the fact is that doesn't mean that we should extend the same rights that humans have to animals. Aren't going to drive cars, they're not going to vote, all these kind of things. But the basic rights that we give to dogs and cats to live free from harm and violence, why not extend those basic rights to those animals? What is it between dogs and cats and those animals?
The vegan lifestyle is actually responsible for almost as much death and destruction as my meat eating.
In what way?
If you've seen the amount of rats, mice, other vermin, everything, like when they go through those harvesters in the field,
we can talk about that.
Get scooped up.
We could talk about that.
You know, I mean,
what do you think the animals you're eating are eating?
Other animals.
Crops. They're herbivorous.
At the end of the day,
so if you take out the animals you're eating, right, there's less plant destruction, less animals and insects being killed. Plus, there's difference, I'm sure you'd agree, between accidental death and intentional death.
Yeah.
Those animals have a chance to run. They have a chance.
Yeah, but again,
that's not intentional, it's accidental, right?
That comes down again to what chance do they have? All they know is there's something big coming. They don't know that it's going to kill them. They don't have that higher cognitive ability.
Do you agree that the point of
realize that?
Do you agree that the point of harvesting those crops, right, is basically because we have to eat something on this planet, right? We don't have to eat animals, but we have to eat something. Now, if we're going to basically have to cause some harm, which I think we do as humans, we're going to cause some kind of harm just by existing. Wouldn't we want to choose the least amount of harm? And the least amount of harm we can cause is by cutting out that consumption of animals.
I disagree.
Let me finish my point, because then there's less plants being fed to those animals, being less crop deaths, and then we actually also have another problem, which is starving children and humans. So there's obviously a huge amount of people that are dying every day, and we could be feeding them with the plant and the plant crops are feeding to
But again, on that
animals.
point is 100 mice, the 100 mice that potentially die for your bag of flour, for your bag
You
of
don't use flour? No, vegetables aren't vegan, they're just, everyone's eating vegetables.
Again, but you're cutting out meat, yeah? So, okay, let's say you're running a lot of bread, you're running a lot of other foods that, you know,
I don't eat bread. Yeah.
But again, for the sake of the argument, you're eating this stuff. Justify to me how 100 mice dying to provide that one product for you is better than one cow dying to feed me and 100 other people.
Because the cow, the amount of food that cow consumes and the amount of water usage and land usage and destruction to the environment,
and that comes
destruction to health.
Farming.
Yeah, and also it's about the amount of resource intensive use.
And that's the method that we're using. We need to be looking at better farming methods. Yeah, cattle is a big problem. We should be actually switching over to things like kangaroo.
You told me to justify it. We have to eat something.
Yeah,
do we not?
We do.
Do we have to eat animals?
We don't have to, but again.
Do we have to eat something though? So it doesn't. If you're in the wild and you're surviving, right? And you have to eat something. There's no plants. There's no nothing. And you decide you're going to kill an animal. Now, I'd prefer you not to, right? But you'd have a justification because you're about to die. It's your life versus that animal. That would be pretty hard to debate, right? I wouldn't agree with it, but you'd do it. In this context in our society, we have a choice, and we can choose between causing this harm that we know is happening to animals. So I don't even know, when I buy those vegetables, I actually have no real way, unless I go to that farm and I look into it, of knowing how many animals died
unless you
for
grow
that.
It yourself, you can't guarantee that nothing has died to feed you.
And so when you eat that cow, you know for sure that animal died.
Yeah, I know
with absolute certainty. And
Yep.
you know, if you look up the amount of consumption in terms of food that they eat, the water, everything, the destruction caused,
The beef
so
industry
you can
is
make
a
an
problem.
informed decision.
Yeah, the beef industry is a problem, and I don't eat as much steak and things as I used
That's
to
good.
for that reason.
That's good.
But I will still eat lamb, I still will eat pig, but I will look for the ethically farmed stuff, the stuff that's been done properly.
What does ethically farm mean?
Pigs that are able to actually get out and live a life. Pigs that can get out and
Whereabouts are those farms?
There are farms everywhere. Take sheep, for instance. Tasmania, and New Zealand. I've been on those sheep farms. My housemate lived on them and worked on them as well. We've seen firsthand what happens there. And you know what? Those sheep, they live a better life than they would in the wild. I put to you, there is a trade-off there as well. Those sheep, and not across the board, obviously, there are problems. There are problems with the ways we kill some animals, the way some abattoirs work and things. It's not right. But you look at the role model for it, so to speak. And these sheep have led a better life than what they would in the wild. They've been looked after.
They're not in the wild.
They've been nurtured. No.
We're breeding them into existence,
But
right?
Sheep were bred into existence? No. Sheep existed before we started.
Yes, but I mean we're breeding them into existence. So,
yeah,
right?
we keep breeding.
So just because they have a life doesn't justify breeding. Like if I breed, hold on. If I breed dogs into existence to kill them, Does the fact I give them a nice life justify killing them?
I think so.
You think I'm okay to go kill my dog and eat it unnecessarily?
Again, if you're not doing it without a reason, if you're taking that
I don't have to
life,
eat it, but I choose to because it tastes
but
good.
if you're using all of that, if you're using as much of that animal as you can, what is the difference between you taking that animal and eating it, or it walking out and being killed by another dog and left to rot? I'll tell you what the difference is. It's been wasted.
Why is it
Whereas
those two
with me,
options? Why there's a dog that's eating another dog? Like what happens in nature is
that's
not.
nature.
Well, that's not what we
Are
look
we
to.
not part of nature?
That's not what we look to for our morals.
Are we not part of nature?
We go to supermarkets. We live in this society.
But are we not part of nature? Did we
Define
not
nature.
start as part of nature? Are we
Define
not
nature.
part of this earth? Are we an alien
They're different
species?
questions. They're three questions.
No, they're the same questions.
You said, are we an alien species? No. Are we in nature? Define nature. What do you mean by natural? Is what's natural good?
Natural's what you do for
Is
long
what's
enough.
natural moral?
Natural's not what I'm saying. Nature, not natural.
So define how you're using that term so we
Nature.
understand each other.
Something that was here to begin with, something that was not introduced. We were not introduced to this planet. We've been on this planet.
You're
since
talking.
day
So you
dot.
think buildings and iPhones and cars are all natural?
That is our natural process. That's human natural process.
And factory farming's natural.
Again, it's what we've started doing. It doesn't mean that it can't be changed.
So any behaviour a human does is natural.
No, I mean I could punch you in
So
the
how
mouth
are you
right now,
defining
that
what's
wouldn't be
natural or what's not natural? Because what happens in nature is not
about
what we...
behaviour. It's about the things that are here. We have been here from day dot, just like the rest of it. Whether you think we were created or evolved, we did not come from an external source. We are part of this ecosystem. We are part.
Yeah, that's why I chose to do things that are environmentally less impactful.
This system, this environment, this ecological system has formed, and we have adapted to it the best way that we've been able to over the time. Maybe the way we're adapting is going to change in the future, but it doesn't necessarily
It's always changing,
mean
right?
what we're doing is wrong. The way we're doing it could be wrong. You know, and it's not about the ends justifying the means. The means needs to be above board. I agree with you there 100% that we need to be doing these things ethically.
Finding better ways to take someone's life doesn't make it moral.
But again, you're putting it, and this is again where we disagree.
So you don't think animals are someone?
Value on an animal? No, I don't. I think they're animals.
So you don't think there's someone in there?
No, I don't. They don't have a soul. I am not going to go to
So
heaven.
they don't have a
and I'm not
subjective reality, they don't experience reality subjectively.
No, they do, but at the same point,
That's sentience, right?
they have a form of sentience.
Yeah.
But we can't. I can't walk up to a dog and have this debate.
So I can't walk up to someone French and have this debate.
You can.
Not in English, I can't, because they don't speak English.
You can.
They have their, well, yeah, if I don't have my phone on me.
Again, there's ways around this.
Yeah, well, with other animals, they communicate with each other, right? Just because I can't understand what they're saying doesn't justify me killing them, right?
No, and I'm not saying that justifies it.
Yeah.
What justifies the killing is the fact that there is a valid reason behind it. You are killing that animal for
You
your
said for
survival.
taste pleasure. You're not eating for survival,
How do you know?
because you already said we don't need to.
We don't have to, but many of us do. Many
Who
of us
has
can't. How many people in this world can realistically just switch to a plant-based diet?
Most third world countries or less developed countries eat mainly a plant-based diet.
And they've been on that for how long?
Well, it depends where you're pointing to.
Again, you eat meat at some stage in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah? How, was it difficult to make the switch?
No.
You're going to tell me that it was just, not going to eat it no more.
No, it wasn't difficult because I just made the connection with the animals, and when I found out I didn't need to do it
You
anymore.
on a subconscious level, and it's not a question that you need to answer.
I
me.
actually, for
I
many,
don't need the
if
answer.
you want my real opinion, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Again, it's not a question.
I'm not
that
saying
I
going vegan was easy. I'm saying
Exactly.
like cutting out meat was easy for me because I saw it as
making the entire change, not just.
I feel like you're asking me things and I don't know if you're letting me the time to. Yeah, but let's just slow it down a little bit.
Almost.
So the thing is, right?
I got it.
For different people, it might take different levels of time to change. Like habits form, tradition, culture. You've got a different upbringing to me. But when we talk about like treating people or treating animals, treating anyone nicer before killing them, we're debating a nice way to kill someone. But the reality is we don't have to take someone's life, take an animal's life.
We don't.
Then we have to have some moral justification for that, in my opinion. A reason.
Food.
And so pleasure, we have food, we can eat other things.
See, again, it's not just pleasure. And again, that to me is a moot point. I'm a chef. I work with food for other people.
My brother who's here was a chef for many, many years, ate meat, cut it all up. Yeah, and he went vegan overnight like that. Now, not everyone can do that.
And I bet
understand
you
it.
right now, too, he's finding it a lot harder to work in his industry.
Well, he's no longer in that industry.
Exactly.
But there are vegan
That's my
restaurants, chefs. So you think it would be difficult for you to be a chef if you didn't
Yeah,
consume those
hell yeah.
products?
In my industry, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to switch to a vegan restaurant. As a chef, if I'm a vegan, I cannot perform my job. That's a beef stock, I can't eat that, I'm vegan. What then how do I know if that is of the quality that it needs to be? You know what I mean?
What do you mean quality that it needs to be?
There's a certain quality that the food must maintain. If it tastes like shit, no one's going to buy it.
Yeah, have you tried vegan food?
I have.
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but at the same point, to go and just work exclusively in a vegan restaurant, that would kill my career.
Yeah, so you think it's limiting for your potential possibilities?
Very much so.
And do you think for that animal it's limiting in its experiential abilities?
Again, tell me what happens if that cow's let to run loose. It's dead in a week.
We just don't breed them into existence, right? Like the option isn't just let it loose into the wild.
Again, you say we bred it into existence, like we created that. We did not create that animal. Right? We've had a symbiotic relationship with animals.
These farmers,
for transport.
These farmers fist them and they inject their vagina with bull semen. They manually jack off the bull to get the semen.
That's not bringing it into existence. That's continuing it. When you say we brought it into existence, what you're saying is we took some clay, we breathed
that animal.
Yeah, we're ensuring their survival. Again, all right. Well, tell me, what do you think about the extinction of species?
Well, the leading cause is the animal agriculture industry.
But again, we stop eating cattle. I give them 10 years.
To what?
To be gone.
So the main cause of species extinction is animal agriculture, the clearing of land, clearing of forests.
And again, that comes back to what I said before, is the way we're doing it may not be ethical. We need to change the way we're doing it.
But you were saying,
I do not for a second believe we're cutting it out.
Yeah, let's just finish on your point though, because you were saying that those species will go extinct because we won't breed domesticated cows into existence.
If we stopped breeding cattle now, where are they going to live? What is going to be their input into this ecosystem now if we stop breeding?
So if you care so much about the cows, why kill and eat them?
I'll be honest, I actually don't care as much as you think I do, but it's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
you say we breed them into existence.
If you're worried about the cows and their well-being, wouldn't we care about all parts of their life?
I'm more worried about the life they have before they're slaughtered.
Right, so
because
the treatment.
I accept that they are going to be slaughtered, so long as that's done ethically, it's done morally and humanely.
How do you humanely take someone's life that doesn't want to die?
Again, you keep putting a human value on an animal.
What do you think I should call them?
Animals. That's what they are.
Okay, how do you take an animal's life against its will that's humanely?
Argument about the only way that you can relate to the world is an anthropomorphic process, because that's how we are. You look at an animal that's being, or a child, or anyone who's being treated with cruelty, to resonate within you.
Again, I don't believe in cruelty to animals. I believe we should be doing these things morally and ethically. But I put to the pair of you, right? There is a child hanging over a spike pit on one side and a dog on the other. Which one do you instinctively save?
The two-option choice. We have a third option.
What's your third? Give me the third option.
Don't kill them.
They're both going to fall in a minute.
We're not in that situation right now.
But again, it's the example.
But you have the choice to not kill them. So you have a third option.
Let's say you don't. Let's say you have a choice not to kill one, but to save one.
And what does that prove?
Again, it proves again that we are not animals. We are of a different part to animals. We're not.
We are. We're just.
No, we're not. Human nature might be animalistic, but we are set apart from the animals in the fact that we're able to sit here right now and talk about what? We're not talking about let's go and hunt something for dinner. Let's go and find somewhere to live. Let's survive. We're sitting here having a debate purely based on morals and ethics.
We don't know how animals.
I believe in this day and age, we've studied them enough to know that they don't have the societal tools and the
society determines your. So being able to create a society.
I'll put it to you like this. All right, there's Kitchen Confidential. It's a show. All right, it's a cooking show based on a book. He has a vegan come in at one point, and he walks out to her, and she's eating meat is bad, and she's taking the militant sort of I'm going to get in your face approach.
Well, militant means bearing arms, but whatever word you want to use.
You know what I mean. She's getting right up about it. Not this sort of debate that we're having. She's getting very angry, and he turns to her and goes, you know what? You're an evolutionist? Yeah? Cool. We all evolved at the same time according to your beliefs. Cattle had their chance. They didn't evolve quick enough. We evolved to the top of the food chain. There we are.
Well, that's an argument for me to walk into that guy's house with a gun and say, "You got a gun? Well, you're a fucking goose."
Again, and you know what? You would not be wrong. You would not be wrong. You'd be like, well, I've evolved further than you. I have a weapon.
I'd be morally wrong. Yeah.
Morally wrong. You would be morally wrong to kill him.
Well, if humans are morally above everybody else on the planet, why don't they fucking act like it?
Humans develop morals. You're going to tell me a dog has morals?
Yeah, you introduce me to a human that has a fraction of the loyalty that a dog has.
Looking at it.
Yeah, well, I can't take your opinion for that, but dogs, I mean, there's that saying that humans' greatest conquest was the dog, and there's something to that, because you're not going to meet humans who will die for you.
But again, you look at these guys who are going out and laying down their lives to defend their country.
Right, I'm going to leave it there, mate. I'm here to talk about animals, but good on you, mate. Thank you.
But those guys...
It was an interesting discussion. I tried to remain as calm as possible. Alright, hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you see any objections that I missed, or you think they could have been explained more clearly, put them in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit notifications, and I look forward to uploading more videos for you soon. Thank you very much.